Use the quadratic formula to solve the equation. We have 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 equals 0. So the quadratic formula, first off, we need to make sure that we have ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. This is the form that we need to start from in order for the quadratic formula to be accurate in its solutions. That is exactly the form that we have. So sometimes you need to move terms to the left. You get them all on one side, combine like terms, equals 0. So on this problem I see that a equals 2. Coefficient of the x squared term is a. b equals negative 3. And c equals negative 5. Now if you had these terms on the wrong side, you'd get opposite signs. So you want to make sure to have it in standard form for a quadratic equation before you go to the quadratic formula. Now the quadratic formula, your variable, in this case x, equals opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all of this over 2a. I'm going to demonstrate what the books usually show, and then I will show you a quicker way to get through the quadratic formula. So just plugging everything in, opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared. Now make sure you have this negative 3 in parentheses before you square it. If you use your calculator without the parentheses, this will evaluate to negative 9, but it should evaluate to positive 9. So make sure if you're going to use your calculator to have the parentheses around the b before you square it. Minus 4, a is 2, and c negative 5. All this is over 2, and a is 2. That's just plugging everything in. Now the key you need to work out, oops, I went for a highlighter and it didn't work. And now it's highlighting 0. I love it when this stuff works. Let's see. All right, well, we need to work out this. Wow. I'm having all sorts of fun. There we go. We need to work out this part first. So although we can do a little bit here, 3 plus or minus the square root, and on the bottom we can do that, 4. Now we basically have to keep that 3, the plus or minus, the square root, the divide line, and the 4 over and over and over until we get this part simplified. Now inside, negative 3 squared is 9. Minus 4 times 2 times 5 is, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 5 is 40, and 2 negatives make a positive, plus 40. Okay? So that equals 3 plus or minus the square root of 49 over 4. Now we can simplify the square root of 49. That is 7. Now when you go from square root of 49 to 7, make sure you don't include the square root anymore, because it takes up the square root to make the 49 into 7. Now one at a time, 3 plus 7 is 10 over 4, comma, and 3 minus 7 is negative 4 over 4. So we get our answers as 5 halves and negative 1. Okay, so now to demonstrate the way that I typically use the quadratic formula, I work out b squared minus 4ac first. In fact, you can do it in your calculator, but this would be b squared minus 4ac. And we work that out, and it is 49. Okay, so then the quadratic formula is x equals the opposite of b. Now if b is negative 3, the opposite of b is something I can just simply do, positive 3. Plus or minus, the square root of this is just 7, all over 2a, which is 4. And then we from here get the 10/4 and the negative 4/4, getting us our final answer, 5 halves and negative 1. Obviously, same answer. We're using the quadratic formula. But my key is doing the discriminant first. so that I don't have to keep rewriting the 3, the plus or minus, the divide, the square root, the 4, 1, 2, 3, basically 4 times. I just have to write it basically once. It's really nice. So if you do the quadratic formula and do the discriminant first, work that out as far as you can get, remembering it's going to be in a square root, so it's great if it's a perfect square like this. Then that will simplify and streamline how many times you have to actually write the quadratic formula. Further, a lot of people try to cancel like the 4 into the 40. You can't do that kind of stuff. And if you do the discriminant first, it keeps you from doing any of that mistake. All right, I hope this helps and speeds you up.